Over to the month of May, and I think we've got to focus on today's starter, Jon Lester. A little bit better every time out, and maybe he'll have the May that he didn't have in April.
Yeah, and I thought he was really impressive last time out. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings, but he struck out 10, only had 1 walk. That speaks to how good his stuff was. He's still trying to find that release point with his cutter. He hasn't been able to bury it in on the right-handed hitters like he wants to. But he's got some plan Bs, this guy. He's not just cutter. He's got a decent curveball and a good changeup, a great competitor. Sooner or later, he's going to get it straightened out, and hopefully it begins today against this Milwaukee club that has really been struggling. I'll
make a bold prediction. I think that's the last time you're going to have to wear the winter cap. It's going to heat up a little bit this weekend. And when that happens, I think the Cubs, maybe their third baseman, are going to hit some home runs.
Well, that's the thing. The Cubs are playing winning baseball. They're doing a lot of really good things at the plate, but they're not hitting a lot of home runs yet. And this is a team that we expect to hit for a lot of power. Look at that graphic, folks. April wowers. See, that's pretty impressive stuff. Somebody spent all night working on that. Best in April since winning percentage 08, runs per game 2010. They've been running a lot with Joe Maddon. The pitching has been good. So, all facets of the game have been pretty good. The last 3 Aprils combined, the Cubs, prior to this year, the Cubs 20 games below 500.
Well, David Ross in the lineup for the 5th time. All of his starts have come catching Jon Lester. And the 38-year-old backstop had a chance to chat with our Kelly Kroll.
Thanks a lot, guys. Here with David Ross. Wow, what a day. What a way to start May. This is the kind of weather we've been waiting on, isn't it?
This is, yeah. It's nice when it warms up around here because the weather's been beautiful. It's just a little cool. So we've had the sun, the shine, just a little windy and cool for my taste.
Well, despite the cool weather, you guys certainly had quite a month of April. I know you've been on some really great teams. To finish 12-8, do you feel like that's a good place to be? And if you can only continue that, you guys would be right where you want to be come April.
Yeah,
or October, I should say.
I think that was one of our small goals was to just get off to a good start, get some confidence, build a confidence. We have a good team. It's nice to see these guys perform well early on, especially with the weather conditions we've had. And it's a tough division. We've played well. We have a lot of games in our division, so it's nice to get off to a good start right off the bat. But still a long way to go, and we are definitely happy about the April we had.
When you look at some of the young guys in the clubhouse, the way they're celebrating these wins and stuff, is it fun? Does it bring back why you began playing to begin with?
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a good group of guys that care about winning. They care about playing hard. They care about each other. So when you win, it's nice to celebrate with a good fun. It keeps me young, maybe some of these gray hairs in my beard will go away.
I don't know. They say you do a pretty good job of leading the pack in there, so I'm not going to take that away from you. But, with Jon Lester, you've been around, you've worked with him. He's admitted to us he's not always the quickest starter. I know he's looking out. If there's anybody who is ready to get this thing really rolling in the right direction, it's him. I see how hard he is on himself, but you know better than anybody. What is it that's going to kind of click for him that you want to see, and then everything's going to kind of move forward from there?
I think Jon's coming around. His last couple outings have been much better. His stuff's getting sharper. The cutter is kind of the last thing that's coming, and when he gets that locked in, I think we'll be just fine. He's still pitching well. We've had some issues early on with him, but then once he gets settled in, so hopefully we can get him settled in a little sooner today and maybe get him locked in and have a good outing.
Describe what's been fun for you about learning some of these new teams. Today the Milwaukee Brewers, but you've been having to go through different lineups with him, in other words, and how to navigate those. Has that been a fun challenge for you?
It has. We study the film and go over scouting reports and do a lot of hard work on that. And he's learning too. I think we're both learning on the fly. Some of these guys that a lot of these guys already know that have been around here, and so you don't really know till you get back there behind there and see their swing paths and see how they attack Jon. So a little bit of some adjustments going on mid-game and having to figure some things out. But that's part of baseball, and he's good enough to do that, and we expect him to do that. So it is fun to compete like that. But I want to get him locked in.
I'm sure you do. All right. Well, without the face mask today and everything else, you can go out and enjoy this one. Hopefully.
I'm going to try.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
There you guys go, David Ross.
Thanks, Kelly. As Jon Lester gets set for his start today against the Brewers, we'll hear from his manager next. football. Rob Manfred in his first season. He's here at the ballpark today. We'll chat with him during the ball game. Joe Maddon, Cubs manager, was asked what he would do if he were commissioner for a day.
Anything that we could possibly do to bring kids, to get kids more involved. And that's not just about playing, just becoming more interested. I've had this vision of Skyping classrooms, we would all Skype at least one classroom a month as an example to really touch the kids, whether it's I've done that with journalism classes with the Tampa Bay Rays, and it was very impactful and got a lot of good feedback off of that. And beyond that, I'd like to take fantasy baseball to schools and incorporate it with math classes. I think with all the math involved in data and analytics, it's a natural to just get anybody, just all the kids, boys and girls, involved in a fantasy baseball team and really promote it somehow in the schools and then tied into the curriculum somehow. I think there's a match there. As an example, as a kid, I went to say Philadelphia to see the Cardinals and the Phillies, and after the game, I got a bunch of autographs of a lot of the Cardinal players, even Johnny Callison, with the Phillies. But from that moment on, you are connected to that player. Just in that moment, I'm saying that via a Skype. If any of us were to Skype a class of 50 journalism students in Chicago here somewhere, those 50 kids will be connected to that player forever, and that's going to multiply. So then you do it with your entire team. That's my point. I think there's something there, and you're utilizing technology which speaks to their language. So I like that concept. And again, like I'm saying, fantasy baseball. I really believe, from an analytical perspective, with all the math involved in our game right now, there's got to be something there that would be entertaining within a group in a classroom setting during homeroom. I don't know, but I think there's something there. And then again, you just start getting the kids more and more interested. Even if it's not actually on the field, they become fans.
Cubs manager Joe Maddon as we get you set for the Brewers and the Cubs kicking off the weekend next on CSN. beautiful day here at Wrigley Field, and the construction continues. The Cubs coming off a terrific month of April, and we're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The Cubs hosting the Milwaukee Brewers, one of their arch rivals for the first time this season. Great to have you with us, Jim DeShays and Len Casper, as we start your weekend with matinee Cubs baseball today. Chris Bryant has gotten his big league career off to a fine start in the lineup once again, hitting cleanup today.
Yeah, if you recall, his very first day in the big leagues, he failed to reach base. That's the only game that Chris Bryant did not reach base in, either a hit, a walk, reach on an air. He's been an on-base machine. He's been really good, too, in pressure situations. You look at his numbers with runners in scoring position, very patient, takes his walks. He hasn't hit the ball out of the ballpark yet, but he is hitting the ball hard. A lot of line drives. He's shown good power the other way. And here are the early returns on Chris Bryant, hitting .318 with a .455 on-base percentage. He's driven in 10, and he and Rizzo on base all the time, providing a lot of opportunities for Castro and those guys behind him in the batting order.
John Lester still without a win, 4 starts in, but getting just incrementally better every time out.
Yeah, I thought he was really good last time out against Cincinnati. Struck out 10, walked just 1 in 6 innings of work. He allowed 5 hits. So, step by step, little by little for John Lester. That was the 21st time in his career he's had 10 or more strikeouts. He's pitched well against this Brewer club. Not a lot of looks at him, but he has pitched well against them.
Heavy sinker for Willie Peralta. He won 17 last year, still looking for his first win this year.
Yeah, a little bit of an up and down start for Peralta against the Cubs in his career. He's 3-5 with a .374, including his final start of the year last year, in which he struck out a career high 13 Cubs.
A lot of people around baseball talking about Anthony Rizzo as a possible early MVP candidate. He has done it all here for the Cubs early on. We'll have the Cubs hosting the Milwaukee Brewers from Wrigley Field next.
Area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIG-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
The sun is shining, still cool temperatures, slight breeze coming in off the lake, but it's expected to warm up tomorrow. And it might feel even a bit like summer by weekend's end. As the Cubs welcome in a struggling Brewers ball club. We mentioned John Lester, just getting a little bit better each time out. Let's hear from his manager, Joe Maddon.
He is, and in between starts, he's very open actually. The day before, maybe the day of obviously the day that he does pitch, he's a different animal. A lot of guys are starting pitchers, but I found him very approachable in between starts. So I think he's into it right now with what we're doing here and how we're doing it. I think he likes it a lot, actually, and I also believe that he's going to keep getting better. I keep seeing better every time out, so I think once you see that kind of that one game that really sets him over the top in the right direction, heads up, he's going to take off for a while, because he's probably his own worst critic. A lot of really good players are, but the work is spectacular, and how much he cares is, and so I'm just looking for that one moment where it jumps to the correct side, he's going to take off. John is the kind of guy that's, if it's not going, even if he was like 4-0 at the .5, he'd still be upset with himself. That's just who he is. That's how the great ones are. I know he's not satisfied with what he's done so far, but I know that he feels good about it. Keeps advancing in the right direction, and I know he's aware of that, and that's important.
Good stuff on the makeup of John Lester, and I would not say it's a problem because the track record is there, JD, but a guy who does tend to beat himself up. Maybe, hopefully he's relaxed a little bit.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's probably the message he has gotten throughout his career from managers and pitching coaches that, hey, you need to give yourself a break. But as you said, when you look at the resume and the track record, whatever he's been doing all these years has worked out pretty well for him.
Well, if this holds up, we should be getting a lot better as the season moves along. Let's get the umpiring crew. Quinn Walcott is back at the plate. Ryan Blackney's at first, and then the veterans Eric Cooper at second. The crew chief Gary Cedarstrom. Been a rough go for Ron Renicky as you turn the calendar. They're hoping they really turn it around. They have played 7 series. They have lost all of them. They come in at 5-17, worst mark in Major League Baseball. Let's get their Southwest starting lineup. They're also dealing with injuries on top of it. Gene Segura has started every game at short. Hector Gomez is playing second. Scooter Jeanette's on the DL. Ryan Braun starting to heat up. You've got Chris Davison left. Jason Rogers the start at first. Martin Maldonado back at the plate. Jonathan Lucroy is out. So is Carlos Gomez, who likely will be back tomorrow, but it's Parra in center. Aramis Ramirez a late scratch. So Luis Jimenez gets the start at third, and Willie Peralta, the pitcher, bats ninth.
And we'll take a look at the Cubs defensively. Chris Coghlan, Dexter Fowler, Jorge Soler, left, center, right. On the infield, third to first, we'll go Bryant Castro. Russell back in there. He was off on Wednesday. Rizzo at first base, as he always is. And David Ross, he catches John Lester. That's the pairing again today. Our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs. John Lester making his 5th start. Still looking for that first W. 0-2 with a .623 earned run average. Some of the peripherals, all pretty good. 24 strikeouts, only 5 walks, and 21 2/3. He's had a couple of starts where he's been up in the zone and his stuff is flattened out and he's gotten hit hard in those ball games. That was not the case last time out against Cincinnati.
So first time we've seen the Brewers since spring training. These two clubs will match up 19 times when it's all said and done. It's the first time the Brewers and Cubs have not met up in April since 2004. And before we get started, reports are Homer Bailey is going to have Tommy John surgery. So more bad injury news for a starting pitcher within the division. Lester to Segura. Fastball just off the outside corner.
Good start, 93 miles an hour. We've seen him as high as 95, but usually around 91, 92. Cutter, curveball, and a change for Lester.
There's a 1-1. Segura fouls back. 48 degrees. So obviously this is the kind of day, if you're in the stands, you prefer to be in the sun. And an east breeze at 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, a little summer in the sun and still a little winter in the shade.
You add it all up, it equals spring. Segura hits that one a ton, but again, the wind is going to help the defenders on a day like this as Fowler makes the grab. This is the kind of day guys like Segura may be muttering to themselves after a swing like that.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, Segura, it's a guy who hits the ball on the ground a lot. And that's an approach that would serve him and any number of these hitters well here today. Get on top, hit it on the line, hit it on the ground. You mentioned seeing the Brewers a lot in spring training. This lineup they're running out there today, it's kind of reminiscent of a spring training lineup.
Well, I referenced all those injuries, and that is not the sole reason they're 5-17, but it hasn't helped. Arguably their two best players on the DL, Gomez, that's Carlos Gomez, Hector's at the plate, and Jonathan Lucroy, their catcher, 2-0. Thirteenth in the National League in runs, scoring just 3.23 per game. That's 28th in the major leagues. Conversely, their pitching staff giving up 5.36 runs per game. You're getting outscored by 2 runs a game. That's not good.
The worst ERA in the National League. Their starters have an ERA of 5.40. 29th out of the 30 major league clubs. Better only than Boston.
2-2 going in. That pitch was out over the plate, but Gomez only able to foul it off to the right.
So this is a lineup that strikes out a lot but doesn't walk much. Near the bottom of the league in walks. They're dead last in on base percentage.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Got him on a fastball for the second out.
Fastball with cutting action, hangs on to the inside corner. Mister has his first strikeout of the day.
And the Bluebirds out for Ryan Braun, who is heating up. He's hit 3 homers his last 2 games. He recently hit leadoff as Ron Renick's just trying to find the right combination. The next thing may just be throwing names in a hat. That is not caught, but easy play on the short hop for Castro. Brewers go down quietly. Cubs coming up. Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Dexter Fowler, $2.99, has had a big homestand to this point. Soler in right, he's scuffling. Rizzo at first, coming off one of the best months of his career. Chris Bryant, Starlin Castro at 325. Chris Coughlin's in left. David Ross the catcher. John Lester still seeking that first big league hit. And the rookie Addison Russell will bat ninth.
Brewers defensively, Chris Davis is your left fielder. Gerardo Parra, he's the Gold Glove winner. He's in center with Gomez out. Brian Braun's the right fielder. Jimenez making his second start at third base. Gene Segura has committed 7 errors already this year. Some throwing issues. Gomez Rogers on the right side of the infield. Martin Maldonado behind the plate. The Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Brewers is hard-throwing right-hander Willie Peralta.
His first pitch to Dexter Fowler is in for a strike.
4 starts for him so far. He is winless, 0-3 with a 5.04. He's not a big strikeout guy. A ground ball type pitcher. Fastball, slider, and a change for Peralta.
.95, but off the plate and in. Peralta's a big dude, 6'1", 245. .30-30 in his big league career with a 3.90. He was a workhorse last year, 32 starts, 4 out shy of 200 innings. Hook foul.
Leader of the pack for the Brewers in many pitching categories was Peralta. He's 25 years of age. Pretty good last time out against the Cardinals, allowed 2 runs in 6 innings. Brewers haven't scored many runs for him. They haven't scored many runs, period. They've scored a total of 10 in his 4 starts.
Career best in strikeouts his last time against the Cubs late last season is Fowler. Puts that one right on the screws. And a big turn at first, and he's going to hold with a leadoff single. So that is his 8th hit of the homestand. He's now reached 10 times in 14 trips this week.
A whole bunch of this, haven't we? Fastball's running away from him, and he just pings them the other way, hits it hard towards that gap in left center. And 2 very good defensive plays. First, Parra cutting it off, holding the speedy Fowler to first base, and then I don't know if it was Gomez or Segura leaving his feet out there in the middle of the diamond to prevent the overthrow.
Jorge Soler got off to a hot start, but he's just 2 for his last 26. The Brewers will be keeping an eye on Fowler's 6 out of 7. Not running here as Soler takes ball 1. Cubs leading the National League with 25 stolen bases. Through. Fowler makes a turn on his way to third, going to be close, and he will be out.
That's 2 outstanding plays by the Gold Glover out there in center field. Wow. Watch Parra. Dexter Fowler, this has been a point of emphasis for the Cubs since the first day of spring training. Take an extra base. How many times do you see an outfielder come in, charge that play, and barehand it the way Parra did?
He might have been out either way. The only mistake there is once he committed, he was still looking behind him, as a lot of base runners do. Well, that's a great play, as you said.
Jimenez maybe caught a spike there.
So Soler takes over at first on his base hit. And it's Anthony Rizzo. And another ground ball. And this one is through. Soler on his way to third, and he's going to make it.
A lot of two-seam fastballs from Peralta. When he's on his game, he'll get a lot of ground balls. And the question is, do you find holes or not? This is one where Gomez probably should have left his feet to knock that down and maybe prevent Soler from going to third.
Rizzo now 12 out of 25 in his career against Peralta. Starlin Castro 11 for 24 coming in, and he's on deck with Bryant at the plate. First and third, one out.
Yeah, if you were playing a game like who's your guy, you would pick Castro or Rizzo with those numbers against Peralta.
Yep. In the dirt, knocked down by Maldonado. It kind of has that stormtrooper look from Star Wars. The light catcher's gear.
It does look like a stormtrooper.
That's the name, right?
Yeah.
I always take heat from the Star Wars people when I make a wrong reference.
Because we had them on the field last year for pregame, and I was wondering if they would take their helmets off for the anthem. But they didn't.
It would be like removing their head.
So,
I don't think it's a helmet. The kick in the 1-1 is off the plate outside. 2-1 to Bryant.
yeah, so, small sample so far, but Chris Bryant with runners in scoring position is 7 out of 16. That's a .438 average. But he's also worked 6 walks, and that's I was talking about in the open a little bit. He's been patient in situations where a young hitter would, you would expect a little anxiety.
Here, see if he can hit it.
Yeah. And when you look at Peralta's numbers, he's never been a real big strikeout guy, but he certainly has plus stuff.
Bryant able to hold up. It's 3-2. Seems to be able to recognize pitches pretty well. That slider intended to be down, and we almost went after it.
And I think it all starts with his approach, where he's kind of focused on staying inside the ball and going middle away. If you're looking to jerk, you're looking to turn on the ball, you probably become a little more susceptible to that slider off the plate. He trusts his hands. He's quick. Obviously tracks the ball well.
See if Rizzo's on the move here against the ground ball pitcher to stay out of that double play, and there he goes. Swing and a miss. Throw's going to go through, and they're going to get Rizzo. So the Cubs' aggressive base running continuing, but the Brewers able to get out of the inning with no damage. It all leads up to boxing's premier fight, Mayweather-Pacquiao, live on pay-per-view from Xfinity. Order online now at xfinity.com/boxing.
Cub fans, good weather expected for tomorrow and Sunday with the Brewers in town. 1:20 start times for both those games. Good seats still available. Get your tickets at Cubs.com.
I just should stop while I'm ahead. I just can't win with the Star Wars references. They are helmets. You are right. The stormtroopers do wear helmets.
I just guessed. I don't know.
No, you were right. You were right. I tried to play Mr. Smarty Pants. Chris Davis out into right center, and Fowler. A little snow cone there, but able to gather it in.
A little floater to Fowler, and 4 up, 4 down to start the day for John Lester.
At the plate, the first baseman, number 15, Jason Rogers.
Jason Rogers, he's in. Adam Lind not in the lineup today. Left-handed batter. Lind off to a hot start. Rogers making his second start. The other one came at third base.
This is where he has played mostly throughout his minor league career. Decent power numbers as a minor leaguer. Spent some time with the big club last year.
Two balls, no strikes. There it is. Keep it off the end of the bat. A little top spin liner will drop down in front of Coughlin. And the Brewers have their first hit and base runner. This Sunday, Beer Money is back. Chicago's most fun game show where fans test their sports trivia knowledge and win big. Beer Money presented by Coors Light. Premiering Sunday at 7 on CSN Chicago. Now Martin Maldonado. He's catching today. Shows bunt. Takes ball one. Got to believe the loss of Lucroy looms large. Oh, he does both ways.
Yeah, oh yeah, huge, and it's probably another month for Lucroy.
Got a broken toe on his left foot.
Still working the bottom of the zone there, trying to get a ground ball from Maldonado. Get to and get out of dodge. Rogers not a threat to run. The Brewers, they've been playing from behind so much they haven't been doing a whole lot of running. Just 4 steals in the year from Milwaukee, and they've been caught 4 times. You see though with John Lester and the well documented problems he's had throwing to the bases, see if they force the issue a little bit. Rogers was looking a little twitchy over there at first base.
Yeah, Ron Rennick, he likes to run, and I don't think it's any coincidence. He was on Mike Scioscia's staff, so was Joe Maddon. The running game really important for those guys, but they just haven't gotten on base enough.
Yeah, and with, Gomez is their primary guy when you think about the running game. Segura's capable.
Tap foul.
An awful start to the year for the Brewers this year, coming on a dismal end to the year last year. Remember, they were in first place for a good chunk of the season last year. It's something like 9-22 to finish out the year.
Yeah, they were in first place for 149 consecutive days. Dropped out of the top spot on September 1st, and that was all she wrote. Much easier play for Fowler. Sunglasses on, 2 outs. That was a sweep here, actually, at Wrigley Field that kind of knocked them out of the top spot. So the question is, did they choke, or by the end of the year were they essentially what they were, an 82 and 80 team?
I'm going to say somewhere in between.
Okay.
I thought they were a pretty good team, and we talked about it last spring that we thought they would be better than most people thought, and they played that way for a good chunk of the season.
Parra rolls one into left. You're wondering why Chris Bryant wasn't there to make the play. It's because Parra doesn't do that very often. You don't see guys hit the ball on the ground that far to the opposite side of the infield.
No, because normally the approach you take when hitting the ball the other way is you're trying to keep your hands inside the ball and kind of stay level through the ball. And when you hit it that way, if it's the opposite field, it's usually in the air. And Parra, he might have been trying to carve one down that line. Coghlan was shifted, as playing him a little bit that way in the outfield, which is understandable. And because of it, he was able to cut it off. You'll see that a lot now. You see pull on the infield and straight up, or a step or two the other way in the outfield.
Luis Jimenez, 1 out of 13. He's in the lineup. Aramis Ramirez scratched late due to some tightness in his left hamstring.
So you would say that this lineup has a lot of replacements in it.
I would say that, yes. That's a great segue. There's Aramis. This is going to be it. That's the plan. He's going to retire after 2015. He's put together a fantastic career, and much of it spent in a Cubs uniform. Two on, two down.
Quality pitch right there. Borderline. We talk a lot about having the ability to throw something other than a fastball in hitters' counts, but if you just paint with the fastball, that helps too.
He hopes to be back tomorrow. Carlos Gomez. 3-1. The pitcher Peralta is on deck. I don't think Lester's necessarily working around Luis Jimenez, but there is a base open. That's third base with the pitcher next.
He's swinging right here. Nope.
All 4. We're loaded.
I think anything middle away he would have been offering that. Sometimes tough to pull the trigger on that fastball in on the hands. And the only reason I say that, I was looking at some numbers on Jimenez earlier. He's had 164 major league plate appearances, had prior to that one, and he'd walked twice. It's a fairly rare occurrence there.
Peralta this year 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the second. And he's hacking. For AT&T Uverse Multiview, Rogers and Parra with singles, and Jimenez just walked.
Peralta hit .053 last year. 3 out of 57. Punched out 24 times, so he has not been able to help himself a whole lot with the bat in his hands.
Blocked by Ross. Never a bad block, especially with a runner at third.
See the knees start to go down as he anticipates that breaking ball in the dirt. Just a good heater here down around the knees. You don't want to go full.
Swing and a miss to end the inning as the Brewers leave them loaded.
Join Chris Bowden alongside experts Dave Wannstedt and Jim Miller as they break down which teams won, which teams lost here in Chicago. Plus, more on the Bears selections and what it means for 2015. Draftniks want to tune in.
Thanks to Josh Freese, Dave Minahan for the replacements. The manager Darren Hill stopping by as well. Great show last night over at the Riv. My ears are still ringing.
We're bouncing up and down.
They're loud. Yeah,
the
a
crowd,
couple of tunes.
Good,
Sure.
good vibe, good energy. I bet.
Oh yeah, lots of energy. There's Starlin Castro. Sinker that comes back over the plate for strike one. Pretty good chance you're going to see fastballs from Peralta. Throws that heater about 63-64% of the time. There's a slider. If it's not a fastball, generally that's the second pitch.
He appears to be built to last. I think big, sturdy guy, strong legs. I mean, you never know in baseball, especially with pitchers, who gets hurt and why, but it looks like he'd be durable.
Ground ball to Rogers. Step on the back. Bring your next group to Wrigley Field and enjoy special perks only available inside the ballpark. The Cubs offer special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more. Visit Cubs.com/groups.
See Coughlin with that same approach that Dexter Fowler has, the two-seamer away, hitting hard to left and left center. And that time they throw it in on him. That's a pretty good way to approach Coughlin because of his off-field tendencies. I don't mean like off the field, hitting the ball to the off field, not the pull side.
Gomez takes care of Coughlin. Make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long here on Comcast Sportsnet. Brought to you by nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Two ground outs now, David Ross. All of his starts have come with John Lester on the mound, including opening night versus St. Louis.
Anything he gives you with the bat is a bonus. And job number one for Ross is to help Lester be his best.
2-1. There it is. Now 3-1. Peralta signed with Milwaukee when he was only 16. Back in 2005. Ball 4 for the first walk. Yeah, so you look at it and you go, well, he got here when he was about 23 years old. You'd say he was young when he got here, but he already had over half a decade in the minor leagues.
Got to know a lot of people in that Brewers organization.
Over 620 minor league innings for Peralta.
That was that previous pitch to clean or something. Funny off the mound. But the 3-2 pitch to Ross, that's one as a pitcher, you got to just be willing to pump a fastball over the heart of the plate. You got the pitcher coming up next. You get Ross and have Lester leading off the next inning. That's the ideal situation. Maybe he caught a spike, but
he kind of lands that way, and it looks like something's wrong, and it's not. Is today the day for John Lester?
First base hit for John Lester. Yeah, why not?
Career 0 for 44.
As American leaguer, those at bats coming few and far between. Probably took very little batting practice there, just a few rounds as they got ready for interleague play. And he's such a hard worker. He'll probably prove to be adequate.
Borderline pitch. Peralta gets the call, and the inning is over. That's his second strikeout. We're scoreless after 2. Congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
Great to have you here at beautiful Wrigley Field. This is your favorite ballpark, right? I know you say that to all the ballparks.
I don't do that favorite thing, but I have to tell you, when you get a day like this, it's hard to complain about Wrigley Field. It's really beautiful. Really beautiful.
So along those lines, since we have you here, you get the whole commissioner for a day thing. My partner thinks, and he said it on a broadcast earlier, that you should legislate there should be one matinee somewhere in baseball every day of the Major League season.
You know, day games are special. You know, there's a lot of issues associated with playing during the day, and obviously what our broadcast partners try to do is make the games available when the most people are going to watch them. But there is something special
I just
about
think
day baseball.
for the baseball junkie that wants to watch a game, if there was one on every day, at least he'd be able to kind of tune in. But yeah, there's a lot of things to consider.
Let's see where this got Segura. It's the last thing they need. That ball hit the top, I believe, of his left foot. And Joe Maddon wondering if it actually hit him. I think our replay seemed to indicate that it did.
If it didn't, he just earned himself an Oscar with that performance.
How do you like the way the tweaked replay has gone?
I think it's an improvement. You know, Joe Torre was very focused during the off season that we do everything we can to kind of tighten up replay against the backdrop of the pace of play initiative. And, you know, as usual, I got good advice from Joe on that. When you talk to players about pace of game, it's important that you be able to say to them, you know, we're trying to clean up our part of it as well.
And are you getting pushback from the players, or are most of them buying in on the pace of play?
I'll tell you, the cooperation on pace of game has been unbelievable, really unbelievable. You know, we involved the MLBPA from the very beginning in the process, and I think Tony's input was helpful on the substance, but also helpful in terms of securing the players' cooperation.
And it's worked?
Yeah, it has worked. You know, the early returns are really good. You know, time of game's a funny number. You know, a lot of things affect time of game that are not really what we're focused on. But, you know, we have great observers, people like Jim Leland, who are out there looking at games all the time. And, you know, they check in. And more important to me is they say the games just seem a little crisper. And I find that to be very encouraging.
Runner goes, and a bunt by Gomez, flip by Lester, so they get the batter. Segura's had an eventful inning, but he's in second with one out. How do you balance the Rob Manfred as a baseball fan versus Rob Manfred as now the commissioner of baseball? And you've been fairly aggressive, which I appreciate, in trying to make some tweaks where you deem necessary, but also maybe take a breath and go, I have to balance what everybody else might want to see as a fan.
You know, it's interesting. My fan instincts are conservative. And I think that my business instincts are kind of the opposite. So, you know, I try to check myself in terms of how far do you want to push on this issue? Does this really make sense? And, you know, we always want to avoid interfering with the history and traditions of the game.
Strike called. Speaking of that, I know getting more kids involved in the sport and becoming fans of the sport is always a priority, but especially these days, right?
Well, you know, we've done a ton of research on developing fans, and the two biggest issues are, did you play as a kid? Single biggest determinant of your avidity. And the second one was, how old are you when you go to the ballpark the first time? Once you have those two pieces of information from a business perspective, it's not hard to figure out where you should be focused. The youth participation space is a very competitive space now. Kids have lots of alternatives, and we need to help youth baseball be as competitive in that space as we possibly can. And on the ballpark issue, you know, I'm a product of parents taking me to the ballpark early. I became a great fan as a result. And, you know, our demographics were strong in the parent and grandparent group, and we need to energize those people to make sure they pass the game on to the next generation.
Yeah, well, there was we got a note here the other day. There was a grandfather, his son, and grandson were all here together, three generations.
It's great.
Taking in a ball game.
That's great.
And what was so as a kid, you were, Yankee Stadium?
I was a Yankee fan. My first ball game was August of 1968 in Yankee Stadium. My folks actually, well, you know this geography. They drove me down from, myself and my two siblings down from Rome, New York, and we spent the weekend in New York Saw the Yankees and the Twins on Saturday. Mickey Mantle hit 2 home runs. Last time in his career. If you'd like to see the film clips, I have them on my phone. And then Sunday, it was Mel Stottlemyre's best year. And he had a great ERA that year. And the Twins, I think, nicked him for 7 runs in the first 2 innings on Sunday. But it was Old Timers Day, so it was really a great day.
That's the day to be at
anyways.
Yankee Stadium, yeah.
And you guys have a Lemoyne connection.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was at Lemoyne at the same time Jim was. My wife graduated from Lemoyne. I think there was a Rome guy on the staff with you, Joe
Bone.
Yeah,
Joe and Tony both played there,
yeah.
Oh, they've got, no, that's a smart play by Gene Segura. Ross came up firing, and he just took off for third. Steals a bag.
Well, yeah, they're trying to do everything they can to tighten up base runners with Lester on the mound, and that's what David Ross had in mind, just trying to shorten up his secondary lead. But Segura had other thoughts, and it's great base running.
So I don't know exactly, Jim. What was it? 3,000 kids at Lemoyne, and you had you, Tom Brown, and Joe. Well, that was some staff.
We got D2, Division II baseball back in the day.
Infield in. The 2-2 to Braun. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for John Lester. So Derek Jeter retires, and I guess we always try to then fill in that space. Who's the new, the face of baseball? But trying to develop the next generation. We're off to a good start with guys like Mike Trout. You see Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Starlin Castro, all these kids on the Cubs team as well.
Well, it's a young man's game right now. Teams that are playing well, lots of young players. And, one of the things I say to the players, and I really do mean it, our players are a fantastic group of people, not only players. They're great athletes. They're interesting people. They're good people. And we have a lot to work with in terms of replacing the guys like Jeter that have moved on.
One strike to Chris Davis.
Yeah, a lot of young, talented, smart guys. I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed over the years. You see guys getting on the team planes carrying guitars, and you look at their college background, some of the degrees they've earned. There's a lot of sharp guys.
I'll tell you a great story. I went to the writers' dinner in New York where they give the Cy Young and the MVP and all the big awards, and Clayton Kershaw came to collect his Cy Young and MVP. And it was the day after his first daughter was born. And the speech he gave at the writers' dinner explaining why he came, one of the big factors being that Sandy Koufax was there to present the award, showed his love of the game, gave people an insight into what a great family guy he is. He talked about the things that are important to him. And those are the kinds of things we need to let our fans see.
2-1 on Chris Davis. Visiting with Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. Your predecessor was here a lot, so we hope that you've got an open invitation.
It's close to Milwaukee.
Yes.
It is close to Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
I love being at Wrigley Field. This is the first All-Star game I ever went to was here in 1990, so I have fond memories about it.
So turning back the clock, as a labor lawyer, you went to work for the clubs. I mean, did you think commissioner of baseball? I mean, when did that become a reality or a possibility in your mind?
More recently than you would have thought, Jim. When I was an outside lawyer, and then, I came in-house in 98. But even when I came inside in 98, I was focused on trying to make the labor relations better. And that was a big chore. It was a really big job when you think back to that point in time. I was so comfortable with Bud as the commissioner, I never really thought about it very much. Really became more of a reality once he announced he was leaving.
Rizzo has just enough room to make the catch. Thanks for stopping by. We enjoyed the visit very much.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed it.
Commissioner Rob Manfred.
Set between the Cubs and the Brewers. Coverage begins at 12:30 with Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto, right here on Comcast Sports Net.
Enjoyed that conversation with the commish.
Yeah, when he first got hired, I fired off a tweet, something along the lines of former Lemoyne Dolphin Rob Manfred. He couldn't handle the rigors of Lemoyne, so he had to transfer to Cornell and Harvard Law School. It's fun stuff.
Russell got the night off Wednesday. Actually had the game-winning hit early on Tuesday night. He went over the Pirates.
Yeah, it was a good night to give him a chance just to sit back and watch a ball game, not deal with Garrett Cole, who's one of the tougher right-handers in baseball. Young player, first comes the big leagues. Everything just goes really fast.
Able to hold. It's full 3-2. So the update, we didn't get into the details of it, seems to be that the fine system that was supposed to start today on May 1st, for the pace of play stuff, that ball hit a ton, deep left center, gone! His first career home run.
When you talk about Addison Russell's skill set, you talk about a lot of different things, but the numbers support a guy who will slug in the big leagues. Maybe not a 30 home run a year guy, but perhaps a 30 home run a year guy. There's your Ford home run replay. No doubt about that one. First big league home run. What a thrill for Addison Russell.
That is a welcome to the show moment, no doubt. And it gives the Cubs the lead. One to Fowler, swing and a foul tip, 1-2. This is the kind of day you're just not sure. The guy has enough on it to get it out of here, but Russell did. He hit it high. Plenty of distance. Yep, again, a day to be in the sun. Russell Street, rooftop packed. You know, the pace of play, I don't think they're going to end up implementing those fines, mainly because the rules are working. So I think we're going to remain in the friendly reminder stage. As Gomez makes a catch, Fowler is out. And I think that's the right way to play it. Just having the clock in the ballpark has really done the job. And we were talking with Randy Bush, Cubs assistant general manager, and he has witnessed the actual pitch clock in the minor leagues, and he says that has been effective. That they haven't, he didn't see any warnings or anything like that, but just the idea of, and I don't think we're going to have a pitch clock at this level. It's just the little friendly reminders to not dilly-dally.
Move it along. Well, play the game.
2-0 on Soler. Single in the first inning in which Fowler was gunned down at third, trying to take an extra base.
You see Peralta here wasting no time between pitches, and we see that more and more. More pitchers working this quick tempo. We talk about it all the time, how guys like playing behind pitchers who work quickly. Yet there are some pitchers that just have a hard time making that adjustment.
.30 is in there. It's now 3-1. At some point, Addison is going to hit a ball onto Waveland or Sheffield. He'll hit one out into Addison, but it would be foul. Soler on for the second time, infield single.
Well, he's been struggling of late, so he'll take him any way he can get him. 2 out of 2 today. Beats that one into the ground. Jimenez in do or die mode. Can't get it. Addison Russell in 2013 hit 17 home runs. It's between A-ball and AAA, mostly an A-ball. Last year hit 13 home runs. But it's only 258 at bats. Minor league slugging average of .520. Lots of doubles.
Rizzo backed out of the way, but it caught the inside. And you see he was nodding. I think he knew it was a strike. Right on that edge. One was inside.
Yeah, sometimes you go hard in to set up soft away. But Anthony's so close to the plate and covering that outside corner. You see multiple tries by Peralta to throw that 95-mile-an-hour two-seamer that works its way back to the inside corner. And looked like Maldonado was sliding back in there again.
Bryant on deck. Addison Russell led off the inning with his first career homer. And Peralta's 2-2. Rizzo able to punch it foul and stay alive. Hit for the 8th time already. So a club record for April.
This time Peralta overthrows that fastball, doesn't get the movement back to the inside part of the plate. And Rizzo's so big and strong and dangerous that a lot of times that becomes the thinking of the pitcher. If I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss in off the plate as opposed to having it leak back over the heart of the plate.
So here's Bryant. And yes, Russell got the first homer before Bryant did. I'm sure some of his teammates will remind him of that. Slider misses outside, ball one.
Put so much pressure on opposing pitchers. You know, when you've got dangerous hitters throughout the lineup, there's no easy touches where you can just kind of feel comfortable channeling fastballs.
Throw to second. Soler's back. Long throw by Maldonado. Trying to buy it out and help his pitcher. Long pause. Soler fake toward third. Bryant takes a strike. Hear about strike to ball slider. That's the ball to strike sinker.
Think of guys like Greg Maddux, Oral Hershiser.
Infield single and a hit batter setting up this inning. After the home run to lead it off. 3-2.
Another long at bat by Bryant, and again the Cubs forcing opposing starting pitchers to throw a lot of pitches.
In the third inning, Peralta up in the 60s with his pitch count. I believe the runners will be going here to stay out of a double play.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well last time, but that's not going to stop Joe Maddon.
No. They're not going. It's bounced foul. Maybe it did.
Well, I wouldn't stop him from contemplating it. I mean, you have other reasons.
Another 3-2. Ball four. They're loaded up. Rick Kranitz, former longtime coach in the Cubs system, is the Brewers pitching coach, and he's out for a visit. You know, this inning has been a template for this offense, hasn't it? Rizzo gets hit by a pitch. Guy takes a walk. Single, all of a sudden, bases loaded.
Yeah. And we talk about the dangerous hitters. You know, Russell in the 9-hole goes deep. Stalin Castro has had more plate appearances with men on base and with men in scoring position than any other Cub. So he's been one of the guys who's really benefited from all this traffic. He had a great chance here against a guy that he has enjoyed great success against. Got a guy who typically gets a lot of ground balls with a hitter who typically hits the ball on the ground a lot. So that means Chris Bryant has to make sure he gets a good secondary lead. We can get into a middle infielder and prevent a double play.
So leadoff homer, infield pop, infield single, hit batter, walk, and now Castro. Strike one at the knees.
Put that one up, and I'm sure that's what Kranitz told him when he went out there. Look, let's just pound the bottom of the strike zone with 2-seam fastballs. Get yourself a double play and get out of here. He overthrew that one a little bit, elevated it, got away with it, and that's the advantage. You know, he's not a finesse sinker baller. He's a power guy too, so he gets that good sinking action, but he can also throw at 96 miles an hour.
Should be 2. And it is exactly what Peralta wanted to dial up. But he gave up the leadoff homer to young Addison Russell, 21 years old, and his first of many, hopefully, big league home runs. 1-zip Cubs.
To the 4th, we just had a chance to hear from Commissioner Rob Manfred in the booth. And before the game, actually, Joe Maddon was asked if he had a chance to be commissioner for a day, what would he maybe change or do? And he had a couple very interesting ways of getting the youth involved. He said anything to get them interested in the game once again. And his first thought was maybe Skyping through classrooms. He said managers, players once a month. That would be fun. And his second one was taking fantasy baseball into math classes. Heck, that already includes so many numbers and analytics. Why not use that as a way to get children and, of course, high schoolers interested in the game as well as their studies, guys? I don't know. That would have made my math class a lot more fun back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good program. And I think teachers do that. I think teachers do implement a little baseball in their curriculum.
Cubs leading 1-0. Look at John Lester's had too many leads, has he?
Yeah, probably not.
Shutout opening night. One and 2 on Rogers. I want to welcome those viewers watching us on ESPN UK today. Rogers splintered his bat as he bounces one to Castro. He's out by a step. Nine of the 14 runs, by the way, allowed by John Lester have come in the first 3 innings over those first 4 starts. So good to see him get into the middle innings unscathed to this point.
Well, batting average on balls in play is quite high against John Lester. Was coming into this start, so it speaks to a little bit of bad luck. When you look at the fact that he's only walked 5 and allowed 1 home run, his fielding independent pitching, some of those other advanced metrics that could break out in math class, show him trending in a more positive direction. The one thing that grabs your attention on the other side is the line drive rate. He's given up a lot of line drives. Obviously, line drives turn into base hits more often than fly balls and ground balls.
It's the second time Lester has pitched with a lead. The other time was against the Padres. One and two to Maldonado. Everything else under the lights tonight. Trying to get the commish to buy your
idea.
Wasn't buying it. See, I think the fan in him would buy it, but the commissioner,
businessman,
the ball hammered foul. Hey, congrats to the Chicago Bulls. Beat the Bucks last night by 130.
It was like the Globetrotters and the Washington Generals.
That had to be the biggest blowout and clincher in the playoffs ever, right? Third largest margin of victory.
Ooh. We had him. Yeah, what was the final? 120 to 60 something?
Wow. They beat him by 56, I think. Could have gotten that call, did not. 2-2.
I hope they weren't stealing any bases in the fourth quarter. That would lead to some bad blood. What's the rule in the NBA when you're blowing somebody out? You can't press.
Take your starters out.
Shot clock.
I would say take your starters out.
Start plugging the ball off the back of the iron. It's really hard to show mercy in that sport when you think about it. You've got a shot clock.
Yeah.
You're just not going to turn the ball over.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Goes to Kevin White, receiver out of West Virginia. Number 7 pick in the draft, which is being held here. Blackhawks start their second round series with a Wild tonight. Brewers and Cubs this weekend. The big fight tomorrow, the Derby.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on.
Fight and the Derby are not in Chicago, but you know what I mean.
If you were a gambling man, maybe you could get like a parlay, and it would have you had to pick a winning baseball team, a winning horse, a winning fighter.
Parra lays down a bunt, a really good one. Ross will pick it up, throw to first, and Parra's safe. Really deadened that ball out in front of home plate.
Parra doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark very often. He does hit a fair number of doubles. I think his thinking here with 2 outs is let's go ahead and get this bunt down and then think about stealing a bag on John Lester. It's obviously been something they've thought about here coming into this game. Saw the bunt from Gomez last inning. Rogers, when he was on first base in the second, was dancing off. Parra has measured a very big lead over there.
For the record, a 54-point spread last night. Bulls beating the Bucks. So if you had the Bulls minus 50, you were golden. 1-0 Cubs. of the ballpark. Cubs swag in a private meet and greet with a player. This year includes road trips to Washington, D.C. and Milwaukee, as well as trips here to beautiful Wrigley Field. For more information, visit Cubs.com/travel.
So in that case, it is the destination and not the journey.
Right. D.C. always a fun trip.
In 1986, the Astros, Charlie Kerfeld said, "We're a team of destination." So there are many destinations.
Coughlin bounces foul back to the plate. 0-2.
Cubs had 3 consecutive singles to start the ball game. Failed to score. Had a big chance last inning. Bases loaded. Peralta did a heck of a job getting the ground ball double play off the bat of Starlin Castro. So just the Russell home run, the only tally so far in this ball game. That's the bad news. The good news is the Cubs have had a lot of really good at bats, and they've really pushed that pitch limit up, pitch count up on Peralta. Could mean an early move to the bullpen for Ron Renicky.
A few bits of news and notes from games played yesterday and last night. The Mets finally lost at home after 10 straight wins at Citi Field. 8-2. They lost to the Nationals. All of a sudden, Washington's won 3 straight. That ball hammered but foul. Cardinals won again. 9-3 over the Phillies. So St. Louis is 15-6. The best record in baseball. Cubs 2.5 out going into this one. Do I need to repeat? Just because Adam Wainwright's done doesn't mean you should write off the Cardinals just yet.
No, that will hurt, but it's still a very good club. Carlos Martinez has really been pitching well.
Yep. Backhanded play by Rogers, and he'll get it to Peralta for the out. The Astros have won 7 straight. 3-2 over the Mariners. Went to extras last night. Houston's 15-7.
Their best start since '86. And they had a lot of good teams in between that, obviously. But a great start for the Stros. 10-2 on the road.
It's a look.
Not everybody could pull it off, but some can.
David Ross out in the left center. That ball's still in the air, and it's going to drop. Davis will play it on the bounce, and it's a 1-out double for Ross.
Well, we talked about David Ross last time he was up, that his primary responsibility is to make John Lester as good as he can be when he's pitching. But nice swing of the bat here. He's on for the second time, walked last time, and now a 1-out double. Had a big knock in Cincinnati the other day. If Lester's going to get that first hit, this would be a good time with a man in scoring position. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Jimenez charging from third base with 1 out. And the Brewers, they're just thinking that because Ross is not a speedy guy, that the Cubs might be thinking about sacrificing him along to third base here, even though that would be the second out. And that man has other plans. I don't know that I've ever seen a bunt this aggressively defended in this circumstance. One out and a man on second.
Rogers moving back a few steps. They're telling him to come right back in.
Good take.
2-2. Russell, who homered his last time up, is on deck. Youngest player in the entire National League, Addison Russell. Peralta's 2-2 pitch, strike 3 called. Time now for our Xfinity high-speed action, and Russell gave this one a major ride. It was first. And he will end up with that ball.
Russell's not the youngest Cub ever to hit a home run. Danny Murphy, at the age of 17 in 1960.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
It's a humbling game, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 1-0 Cubs.
therapy are back. Give your kids an unforgettable baseball experience this summer. The first camp kicks off in Lake Forest on June 22nd. Cubs.com/camps to sign up.
Cubs leading 1-0.
So I did a little Google search on the youngest Cub to home run, and that's when I came up with Danny Murphy, fresh out of high school in 1960, at the age of 17, with 81 plate appearances. Look out.
Backhanded by Russell, and he'll get Peralta.
Pretty well struck there by Peralta, who has not had a lot of success with a bat in his career. Nice play by Russell. Gobbled it up, had plenty of time. Good, strong, accurate throw. Yeah, and then just a handful of plate appearances in 61 and then again in 62. And then he came back in 69 as a pitcher.
Yeah, so Cubs and White Sox.
Yeah.
See the line on Lester. Looking to Gene Segura. He sends a fly ball out to Fowler. 2 outs.
And trade rumors already. And Segura's name has popped up. Mets been linked. See what the Brewers decide to do after this horrific start. Do they hold pat, wait to get their injured players back? It's kind of early to pull the plug and start trading people, but if the right deal comes along, maybe they will.
Well, they've got some talent, and they've got guys making pretty good money.
It's a good-looking guy right there. That's a good look. A really good look.
Any relation?
Just in the fraternity.
I got you. You the VP or the president?
The bald goatee look. We got a secret handshake and everything. Agent 99 there on his left.
Gomez bounces Castro, charging. Inning over. 1, 2, 3 for the second time today for John Lester. 1-0 Cubs. Top three in the Cubs order due here in the fifth. Fowler 1 for 2. Bounced foul.
Third time around, Peralta trying to change things up a little bit. A little softer breaking ball to get started. I thought it was a good pitch. It was called a ball, and then the 1-0 changeup. Ultimately, he knew what he wanted to do, and Maldonado trying to guess with him right now, trying to play catch up. He's being wily, is Willie, changing his game here in the middle innings.
Miller asks for time. I think he wanted that pitch.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Yeah, he's made some good pitches in this sequence. This one is on the plate, but down a little bit. Fowler, as advertised, has been really good at the top of the Cubs batting order. High on base percentage. Real good run right now.
Deep to center, Parra drifting back, and he's got it. One away now, Soler, who's 2 for 2. Mike fires Jake Arrieta tomorrow. Jimmy Nelson, Jason Hamill on Sunday. And tomorrow's game right here on CSN.
Soler not tearing the cover off the ball today, but he's 2 for 2 after that real rough stretch.
Cut and the miss. We get a vacuum over an aisle 8. It's like sunflower seeds, other various shells and things ending up on the track in front of the dugout.
He used to sit there in the dugout and chew seeds and then flick them for like hours. Pumpkin seeds really carried well. The sunflower seeds not quite as much.
Yeah, I got to do a little cleanup after every ball game in a major league dugout.
Good patience. It's the book on Soler now. They've been trying to get him with right-handed sliders off the plate.
Got him. 5 punch outs for Peralta.
Kid Sundays are back here at Wrigley Field this Sunday after the ball game. The first 1,000 kids 13 and younger with the appropriate wristband will be allowed on the field to run the bases, weather permitting, and the weather should be good. For more information on this program, visit Cubs.com/Sundays.
Well, we've had a cold spring and still waiting for trees to start turning green. The ivy a little behind schedule as well. We had a spring a few years ago. It was about April 15th. We started to see the ivy because we had such a mild winter, but taking a little longer this spring. signs of summer.
Yep, it's starting to peek out every now and then, every here and there. You had a little Lake Wobegon going there, man. You ever listen to Garrison Keillor, Lake Wobegon, Prairie Home Companion on public radio?
It's been a while, but I have listened to this.
Been a cold spring here in Lake Wobegon. The ivy's just coming in. Marilyn Tollerud was at the Chatterbox Cafe.
It was not by design, but I appreciate the comment.
Great.
Rizzo bounces out. The Cubs go down in order for the first time. They lead this one 1-0 after 5.
Flip over to CSN Chicago for instant reaction, highlights, and more on Blackhawks Postgame Live, presented by Hawk Ford. After every playoff game, all postseason long, right here on Comcast Sports Net.
I got a prediction for tonight.
All right.
Hawks 120, Wild 66. Ryan Braun, high in the air to left. Coghlan on the track, right near the well, makes the catch. Well, it wasn't necessarily Hank Aaron off Kenny Holtzman. And Billy making the catch in left during that no-hitter, but Braun almost tied the game.
You see the hopeful eyes of Braun as he got into that one. As he got out there towards second base, Addison Russell probably told, no, be strong to go deep today, my friend.
Want to know on Chris Davis. Good buddy Jeff Garland will join us in the 7th. Final the stretch. Another fun and frivolity will follow, I'm sure. Ran into him in the hallway. He's been watching just about every game. He's pumped.
Fired up, eh?
Yep.
This has got outstanding power. Just one home run so far this year.
By Soler. 2 outs. I seem to recall the Holtzman no-hitter that Jack Brickhouse basically called it a home run. The ball that Aaron hit, it was this
kind of went into
tone of resignation. And it seemed to hit a wall of wind. And Billy made the catch, and the rest is history. Sano hit a big home run on Phil Niekro in that game. I believe that was a no strikeout no.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Yep. Man, there hasn't been many of those.
Maldonado on deck, 3-1 the count on Jason Rogers. Yeah, 3 walks, no strikeouts for Kenny Holtzman. August 19th, 1969. The Cubs 3-0 win. Sano homered in the first inning off Phil Niekro, and that was it. Fowler in center, so all 3 Cubs outfielders get a chance here in the 6th inning. Lester cruising, leading 1-0. Suggests the use of public transportation, or for bike riders, use the Cubs courtesy bike check located near Clark and Addison. For drivers, the Cubs provide free parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For details, Cubs.com. Chris Bryant chops one foul. Good old-fashioned pitcher's duel to this point.
Been a lot of base runners. It's hard to make the case that either pitcher has been dominant, but they've certainly been effective.
I mentioned the replacements are here with the glasses there in the middle. That's Dave Minahan, and he's chatting with Joe Shanahan, enjoying a late lunch. Joe, the wonderful owner of Metro, across the street, and a big supporter of Hot Stove Cool Music, and Joe, a huge Cub fan, and he's gone through some cancer treatments, but he's feeling great, and it's wonderful to see him out here at the ballpark. Ball 2-2.
Up over 100 pitches. Ron Renicky has action in his bullpen. There's Chris Bryant running another full count.
Jeremy Jeffress is up. Popped up into shallow center. Pretty easy play for Parra. Bring up Castro, who's 0 for 2.
Biggest play in this game from the Brewers' point of view, the double play that Peralta induced off the bat of Starlin with the bases loaded in the third.
A tweet from Joe watching us from Germany today. Ryan sent us a tweet. Hey, wasn't Jeff Garland the guy who got ejected after singing the stretch? No, that was Steve McMichael. He commented on the umpiring. Angel Hernandez was not a fan of said comment.
Might as well let it fly on 3-1.
3-2.
Pulled out the driver. Yeah, I remember in the minor leagues you hear that from time to time. An organist getting ejected, after a controversial call, maybe breaks out a little three blind mice in the organ.
Line into center and a base hit. Castro aboard for Coughlin.
Took the healthy rip on 3-1, came up empty. This time a little smaller swing. Solid line drive single. Castro's 1 for 3.
Walter from Samana in the Dominican Republic. Made his debut at age 22 in April of 2012 in a strike call. Then a 17-game winner last season. 4 starts in this year, 0-3 with an ERA above 5, but he's been good today. He's got to be nearing the end. 112 pitches here in the 6th. Shot, base hit, right field. Castro on his way to third. The throw there. In time. Cubs have been such a great base running team here early on, but today they've made outs on tag plays 3 different times. Twice in the first inning, and here a good throw by Braun.
Yeah, and all 3 times they kind of forced the Brewers to make plays. That's their philosophy. We're going to force the action. I mean, you wouldn't call this reckless. I would say that was just, hard, aggressive baseball play, and you got to tip your cap to Braun, who came up and made a good, strong throw into third base. Joe Maddon has said it many times. He doesn't want his guys to start to play scared. I mean, if it gets to the point where he feels like they're being reckless, he'll ask him to back off a little bit. For my money, that's a good baseball play, trying to get to third there with one out, bottom of the order coming up.
And Joe has talked a lot about base running. He does not want his guys to be reckless. I would agree with you. I don't think they have been today. But the last thing he wants them is to be afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
He does not want passive base runners.
So, that's one of those ones where you probably walk down and pat Starlin on the leg and say, hey, you're okay, man. That's a good play, good try. We want you to push it in that situation.
Base running can be really funky. We talked the other day, I think, off the air about guys who are able to get big leads for whatever reason and are reluctant to, just because they get out of their comfort zone.
Right, and that's the other part of the play that they might take another look at. I wasn't really watching what kind of a secondary lead Starlin had. That's the important thing too. You got to give yourself the best chance to take that extra base. Sometimes when you watch Starlin on first base, he doesn't get that good secondary lead. But he's good there. He's fine. And, head down, sees that ball to right field. He's not peeking back over his shoulder. Just trying to force the action.
Peralta has reached a new career high in pitches. 116 and counting. Here's number 117, and it's outside.
I think if the Cubs are in the middle of the batting order, Ron Renicky probably would have made a pitching change, but he's going to give Peralta a chance here to finish off this inning.
Strike 3 called. And that does end the inning. 7th around the corner, 1-0 Cubs. Lester. So far his best start of the year to date, and hoping to make it even better as he'll get into the 7th with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, you see good depth on some of those breaking balls. That last cutter there to Maldonado, getting the swing and miss. It's been a pitch that's been kind of inconsistent for him this year, but solid today. Building on that last start where he was really good against Cincinnati and struck out 10. He hasn't had the big strikeout pitch working today, but just 3 hits allowed, all singles, one of them a bunt single. Not a lot of hard contact off the veteran left-hander here this afternoon.
Maldonado, Parra, Jimenez due up. Mentioned Aramis Ramirez scratched late. Tightness in his hamstring. Not sure if he'll be available to pinch hit late. If you're Joe Maddon, I guess you assume he is available. Third man in the booth, Jeff Garland, stopping by. Hi, Jeff.
I realize what an honor it is to, I mean, it is an honor to be with you on every level. I just catch it. Hold on. I now call it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you call it.
One away. Soler makes the catch.
There you go. No, because I've seen people sing the 7th inning, and you get rid of them right away. You're like, hey, thanks. And I think I sit here for 90 innings when I come. And then I see these people, and you're like, hey, glad to have you. Bye-bye now. And they don't even talk to you. You don't even. I'm sorry. It makes me laugh. Speaking of laughing, so I watch you guys on my iPad all the time. You guys have been on a roll. You've made me laugh out loud so many times. And the idea, because look, you have to be funny when the team's stinking up the joint. But the fact that we're winning and doing great, and you're doing a great job broadcasting, but you're also managing to be really funny, I give a huge accolades. It's a great broadcast.
Wait till September, and we're in a pennant race, and we just completely clam up. Just get locked down.
Well, that would be a wonderful thing. Who knows, we don't know.
Different vibe this year, right?
But that's the key thing. Totally different vibe. Because, you come as a fan to the ballpark and you're like, oh, we can win today. There were years before you came, okay, where I would literally come to the park just because I love the Cubs and I love the park, but I know damn well we weren't going to win. There was no way. No way. I remember sitting in the bleachers saying to my friend, what if next year Dawson and Maddox aren't here? And the next year, Dawson and Maddox were not here. Oh, it's been a long journey, but this is so exciting. And for me, the key, Joe Maddon. I am so excited about Joe Maddon. Oh, there I am talking to him. He's a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. All right, do you want me to tell you?
Yes, he is.
Want me to tell you something really humbling today? This is really funny.
Of course.
All right, hold on. All right, call it.
Parra grounds out. 2 outs in the inning. So, by the way, when you sing, you're going to take the headset off. You've got the earpiece.
I got the earpiece because of a big delay.
Then you're going to sit back down.
Okay, thank you, sir. I was with Rich Eisen yesterday, and I heard the thing. That's as bad as it gets.
I told him to go slow.
Yeah, well, it wasn't as much him as the woman that was
Melissa
with him.
Stark.
Oh, she and Mariucci were really horrible. He was just regular horrible. But the delay thing, so I'm just going to listen to what's in my ear. That's all I can do.
Okay.
So what was that?
Humbling, something humbling.
Oh, okay. So, okay, hold on. All right, so call it.
Ball 1.
Okay, so Maddon comes up to meet me, and I'm like, I can't believe it. Because I wanted to meet him. And we're talking. He offered me to go to lunch. He offered me to go for coffee, hang out. But each time he said, "Yeah, get Larry and Will." There was no.
Bring your friend Larry.
Yeah, everything was.
Like, what's your mom having for dinner tonight? Well, yeah, your house.
Here's what it is. Hey, Jeff, Joe Maddon. What's Larry like?
Larry sent him an autograph picture once. He told me, but he wanted. He goes, "Don't be a stranger. You and Larry come to the ballpark." Everything was with Larry.
Call Seinfeld, see what he's doing.
Well, but he wants to hang out with me as long as Larry's involved. If I'm alone, he might ignore me. No, I'm not even slightly kidding as a joke. And that is truly humbling.
You're a big enough Cub fan where you will make that happen, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to. By the way, I'd love to be best friends with him. I'm going to say it right here. I want to be best friends with Joe Maddon. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm humble enough. I'm not an ego guy. I'm a confident guy, not an ego guy. I'll be calm. I'm not going to, get in his face. I'll leave him alone. He's got a job to do.
I want a T-shirt. That's a good T-shirt. I want to be friends with Joe Maddon. I want to be Joe Maddon's best friend.
Joe Maddon's best friend. That would be. You know what?
We could sell those.
Great. Well, I'm not going to say, but I usually would say. Yeah, I can't. I'm on the air. Oh, come on.
Get ready. You got to sing now.
Oh, right.
Get ready to sing.
Okay.
Here comes Jeff Garland with the stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ballgame, actor and Chicago native Jeff Garland.
All right, everybody. I know I can hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. For it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs and let's watch the Goldbergs Wednesdays on ABC. After 90-minute guided tours that include a chance to step on the field. That's right, you can step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses over 100 years of history. For more information, visit Cubs.com/tours.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
You got the call back.
You know what I'm curious about? Is there any rumor ever of Wrigley Field being haunted?
I've not heard that.
Because wouldn't you think that Wrigley Field would have like haunted areas?
Sure.
Yeah, that's all. All right.
They say the team hotel in Milwaukee, a lot of teams stay at the Pfister.
Yes.
That is haunted.
Yes.
There have been stories of players moving out of the hotel or sleeping with their door open because they're nervous.
I heard Adolfo Phillips they had an accident there because of a ghost. In '69 before he was traded. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Danny Murphy. Does that name ring a bell? Because JD had a note when Russell hit the home run that he was the youngest Cub to hit a home run, and we didn't know anything about him. And he was a position player and a pitcher for the Cubs and the White Sox.
What years?
He
60 to 69.
1960.
Oh, I don't remember Danny Murphy.
Lester grounds out.
Yeah, I mean it would be like PhD level Cubs stuff. He signed out of high school. He's 17 years old.
Can I just say something? I apologize. I am so disappointed in Lester's hitting. Lester's hitting. You know, he came here with. You know, he's got to start hitting.
Yeah, that's why we paid him the big bucks, right?
Big bucks. I am so happy he's got a 1-0 lead. That's awesome. No, so that was his card that went up?
That was Danny Murphy, yeah. There's Russell.
I love it. I just heard in my ear after the pitch, they'll show it to us again. There it is. And you know what's weird about the players back then? They wore a lot of makeup. They really did. He just looks covered in makeup.
It's the residue from the bubble gum in the pack.
I don't know what kind of camera they were using.
There's Will Smith. And the Brewer pen.
Will Smith pitches for the Brewers?
Yeah.
My gosh. Things have been not going good for his career.
I thought we had a note that he had sent a letter.
If this Will Smith did,
Will Smith?
sent a letter to the Fresh Prince.
This Will Smith sent it?
Yeah, this past
let's
spring.
hang out.
Yeah.
And did Will Smith respond?
I don't believe he did or has.
I once got a letter from Will Smith's wife. I replaced her as the host of something, and she sent me this beautiful handwritten letter. I don't know her. It's a little story that I like to bore people with.
right.
Oh, who doesn't love a good... I don't even know her name. What's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith. That's right. That's a nice lady, letter-wise. I've never hung out with her.
So you're bringing Larry next time, right?
By the way, that's what, oh my God. But, I'm in L.A., I might bring him to the ballpark, which Joe got excited about. Larry loves baseball. He's a big Yankees guy.
Hey, are you excited for Bob Odenkirk? Did you watch Better Call Saul?
I'm excited for Bob Odenkirk, my friend. I watch every episode of Better Call Saul.
Wasn't it great?
It's the best thing ever.
So happy for him.
Oh, I'm good.
He's going to sing the stretch this year. We're going to get him here to do it.
You know what? Want me to take care of that?
Yes.
Done deal.
Yes.
Going to take care of that.
Yeah, he was going to do it a couple of years ago. And,
no, done deal. I will tell him we even talked about him. Really, Jeff? Really? He'll say. Yes. One of my proudest. Oh, look at that. See? Oh, I hate him.
So Fowler lines out. Let's throw us to break here.
Okay. I want to be Joe Maddon's best friend.
Jeff Garland, everybody. Tomorrow, so go check him out. He might be a little blue too in that setting.
Yeah,
it's a family show, but he might open the throttle a little bit tonight. You into that? So John Lester into the eighth.
I'm just trying to catch my breath.
Ladies and gentlemen, hitting off the Brewers, number 3.
And John Lester not into the eighth. So once the pinch hitter Elian Herrera was announced, Joe coming out and will make the change, and he should get a nice hand. And it's up to the bullpen the rest of the way. We'll be back. At bat. At bat is up to the moment. At any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Pedro Strop. And a strike on the pinch hitter, Elian Herrera, who is a switch batter, batting left-handed now against the righty, Strop. 0-2.
Impressive numbers posted by Strop so far. He's been on a nice roll for sure. Last few outings, clean innings.
Strike 3. He makes quick work of Herrera.
Heater and then a couple of sliders to finish him off.
That slider will back up and look like a changeup. And now Segura. He's flied out twice, hit by a pitch, stole a base in the third.
Bench.
A ball to third.
Ron Renicki's got some left-handed bats available on his bench.
Delivery that can really throw.
Ground ball to third.
Kind of wraps his arm behind his back, and then all of a sudden that ball's coming at you. The 2-2. Over to Chris Bryant at third. 2 down in the 8th. Pedro Strop on in relief of Lester. It's a strikeout and a ground ball. And now Hector Gomez will try to get something started. Just 3 hits for the Brewers and nothing since the 4th. Man, hasn't even been a base runner for the crew. 12 straight set down. Yeah, 2 hits in the second and then a bunt single by Parra in that 4th. And that's been it.
Brewers have been held to just 3 hits to this point. Swing and a miss. We welcome those viewers watching back to our broadcast. We apologize for the technical difficulties. No problems for Strop.
This is the movie you
1-0 on Addison Russell's home run back in the 3rd inning.
I was wondering what that was for.
Here's Jonathan Broxton. Cubs leading 1-0 on Addison Russell's home run back in the 3rd inning.
The veteran right-hander acquired by the Brewers last August has worked 9 times this year. A high ERA. Other numbers are good. Fastball, cutter. He's thrown his two-seamer a little bit more frequently this year. Slider.
Oh, we mentioned how the Brewers had a terrible September last year. They added Broxton for the stretch drive, final day of August. More coincidence than anything, but right after they got him, that's when they fell out of first place and never recovered.
If they don't turn it around, they'll be talking about the Broxton curse in Milwaukee.
So this is the final year of his deal. They've got a mutual option for next year. And here's 1-1. Outside on Soler. 2 balls and a strike. Great work, Pedro Strop. 11 pitches and a 1-2-3 8th inning. Lester only needed 90 pitches to get through 7 today.
Yeah, this Brewer lineup, a little watered down, obviously, but it's not a patient bunch to begin with. He was able to exploit that. Strop, it's like every time he goes out there now, it's 3 up, 3 down. Very little drama in his outings.
Soler thought it was ball 4 instead of full count. He'd be the judge.
Where the mid is,
yep,
and where the pitch is. That's a good pitch.
And he was late on a heater at 95.
That's a tough pitch to catch up to begin with that elevated fastball. But in these counts lately, he's been seeing a lot of sliders off the plate or on the plate, but well down below the knees. So if you get a hitter thinking that way, looking out to cover that pitch, all of a sudden that high fastball becomes even more difficult to get to.
Anthony Rizzo has reached 2 more times today. He has been an on-base machine. 484. He's getting on base almost 1 out of every 2 trips to the plate. Corner. It's 1-2. Cardinals hosting the Pirates this weekend. A.J. Burnett, Lance Lynn, the pitching matchup later tonight. We will be in St. Louis for 4 starting Monday. $31,128 in the house today. It is golfed out into shallow right center. Braun got a good jump and he makes the catch. And going third to left, now to right.
A one-run ball game due in large part to some really good defensive play by the Brewers this afternoon. Parr early in the game with a couple very nice plays in the outfield. Threw Dexter Fowler out at third base in the first inning, trying to go first to third. Then Braun threw out Castro at third in the sixth.
Bryant with 2 outs, nobody on. And takes a strike. Well, Braun made the transition to right last year. He's worked hard to become a good defensive outfielder.
He showed a better arm in that throw to get Castro than I realized he had. He'll lead off the top of the ninth.
Two and one the count. Some of the advanced metrics don't like Braun's defense that much, but outside, 3-1.
Well, we'll see how aggressive Broxton is here with this 3-1, and this would be a time for Chris to kind of unleash the beast here, take a big swing on 3-1. Even if you chase a bad ball, you still have one more pitch to play with. You have 2 outs, nobody on.
Ball 4.
And again, a day where he has seen a lot of pitches, on base twice with a couple of walks.
Here comes Castro. I want to give a shout out to big Cup fan Bobby Miller. Bobby had a birthday recently. Just got her letter a little late, but wanted to wish her a happy belated birthday. Bobby lives in Skokie, Illinois. Good lead by Bryant, held by Rogers, as Castro takes a strike.
Pretty high leg kick used by Broxton there. Right? 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts.
Cut and a miss, 0-2. Rondon ready for the ninth. Braun, Davis, Rogers, although I bet you Adam Lind.
I would think, yeah.
For Rogers. Buxton now has a sign he wants. Castro the base hit. And Bryant's going to hold it second.
That time, had Chris been thrown out trying to go to third base, that would have been reckless.
Yep. You're already in scoring position with 2 outs.
and you know, talk a lot about outfielders and their throwing arms and outfield assists, and they're generated a couple of different ways. One, strong, accurate arms, and the other is just speed, the ability to get to the ball. Look how quickly Parra closes on that ball. No chance at all for Bryant to go there. And again, not that he would want to with 2 outs take that chance. In football parlance, he's a shutdown corner. Now Kuiper would love him.
It's a good call.
Big chance here for Coghlan. Provide an insurance run or two. He's not had a lot of success yet this year with runners in scoring position. He's got 3 home runs, but only 4 driven in.
Two men on. Walk to Bryant, the single by Castro, and here's the 1-1 to Coghlan. Look out. Michael Blazek open the Brewers pen. Tip 3-2, and the runners will go with the pitch here with 2 outs. The significance of that is any base hit to the outfield, Bryant scores easily, but anything toward the gap should easily score 2. Pitch to Coghlan is fought off foul.
A few years back, Broxton, when he was with the Dodgers, was routinely 98, 99 miles an hour. That velocity has slipped in recent years. Still has a good fastball. Pretty fresh here today. Last year when we saw him, he was a lot of 92, 93s. Today we've seen 95 and 96 from him. Challenge would be, can you sustain that over the long haul?
They're making him work here in the 8th, and he gets out of it. And pitch number 27 of the inning. 1-0 Cubs as we go to the 9th. Russell with the first home run of his career.
Always a big thrill if it proves to be the difference in the ball game, even more so for that 21-year-old future star. Yeah, game-winning hit in Cincinnati the other day, did he not? Seems to ring a bell.
Well, he did against the Pirates for sure on Tuesday.
Pirates, that's what it was. And it was one of those other cities.
He may have in Cincinnati. I'll have to take a look.
No, I think it's the Pittsburgh game I'm thinking of. I knew it was one of those teams with a river behind the ballpark. Here comes hard-throwing Hector for the 11th time. In search of his 5th save. He's 4 out of 5 in save opportunities so far. Really good in the second half of last year. So 19 out of 20. The Boos great Ryan Braun, who's done a lot of damage against the Cubs and in this ballpark over the years.
And right now it's a one-swing ball game. There's the 0-1 just off the corner. 97-98 to start the inning from Rondon.
He got the strike with the first one. I like the second one a little better, out towards that edge. That first one was kind of over the heart of the plate, and that's the really good one there. So it took him a couple to get locked in. See, that number 1 caught too much of the plate, and you got the swing and miss from Braun, but that was a dangerous pitch. Good try. Tried to run that one back to the corner. Stay away from his power. Now, Braun has good power the other way. Outer third down around the knees. Always a good choice.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner.
Yeah, that's the one right there. I don't care who the hitter is. He might get a base hit on that pitch, but he's not going to do damage. And Braun up there looking for something that he could hit hard. So that's not a strike. He'll review the video and maybe come away with a different point of view.
That's a perfect pitch. Chris Davis.
It's not a pitch you can really fault a hitter for not going after either, regardless of the count.
Rogers is on deck, but it looks like Adam Lind is lurking in the dugout. So I still believe it will most likely be Lind to take the at-bat following Davis 0-2.
Cheese at the knees.
Same pitch he struck out Braun on. Well, why would you go away from it? So if he throws that pitch, JD, 3 more times, does Davis not swing at it is the question.
Well, I mean, you know, and that's the thing. Guys that have power in a one-run game, they're looking to inflict damage, and they're hoping that call goes their way, and it forces the pitcher back over the plate a little bit.
We got him. He did not hit his spot, but it worked. And that's what 97 will do for you. You can make a mistake. This pitch is nowhere near where Ross wanted it.
They're trying to drive it down and away, and he flies open a little bit, and it runs up and in.
So Rogers will take the at-bat. Lind is now on deck.
Brewers have not had a base runner since the bunt single by Parra back in the 4th.
Strike 1. This would be John Lester's first win as a Chicago Cub. Fouled back. It's 1-2. Addison Russell with his first career homer, hoping that is a game winner. Nothing but four-seam fastballs here in the ninth from Hector Rondon.
Getting caught up in the moment and understandable. That's one of the challenges for a closer, right? You got everybody on their feet. They're all cheering. You're humping it up there at 98 miles an hour, and you just want to throw it even harder.
The wind and the pitch. 3-2.
Stay a little taller. Get back on top of that fastball and get it down around the knees.
The 3-2 pitch and a base hit, and the Brewers have some life. Rogers is going to head towards second, and they may be a base hit away from tying this one. And we'll get a pinch runner. It'll be Logan Schaefer to run for Rogers.
A good location that he had in the confrontation with Braun kind of left him here. Sequence of pitches out over the heart of the plate, and Rogers put a good swing on one.
Chris Bosio coming out, maybe just to slow things down a bit. As Rondon will face the Brewers' hottest hitter, Adam Lind. Off to a very good start.
Yeah, I think it's kind of get him back downstairs with his thinking, and then a little refresher course on Lind's strengths and weaknesses as a hitter.
Lind was acquired from the Blue Jays over the winter. He's on a current 8-game hitting streak, during which he has 13 hits and 3 home runs.
Battled back problems last year with the Blue Jays, so the power numbers were down, but he's legit. A few years back, he had a 35 home run season.
Oh, look at those numbers.
Yeah, really good in the pinch in his career.
He's added some much needed pop to the first base position. Strike one.
He does not have a pinch hit at bat yet this year.
That's the tying run. Logan Schaefer, the pinch runner. Fans on their feet. 2 outs, 9th inning. Ground ball. Castro, the shortstop, will field. Cubs win. Cubs win. Rondon gives up the 2-out double, but gets Lind on the ground out. Addison Russell with the game-winning home run, and John Lester has his first win as a Cub.
How about that for a day of first? Lester's first W, Russell's first home run. Good solid effort. Good work by the bullpen, Strop and Rondon. Rondon just wanted to provide a little drama. Boy, another loss for the Brewers. They fall to 5-18 and having a difficult time generating any offense.
Milwaukee held to just 4 hits on the afternoon. And the Cubs 3-1 on this homestand, now 13-8 overall, and 10-5 against their own division. Big home run for the kid today, Addison Russell, 21 years old. And let's send it down to Kelly Kroll, who's standing by with Addison.
That's right, Addison Russell, your first major league home run off Willie Peralta. You got a full count there. Walk us through that at bat, and then what your thoughts were as you rounded the bases.
Just looking for a good pitch to hit. We got long in the count, 3-2, and I was just looking for a good pitch to hit, and he gave me a fastball, and I didn't try to do too much and made good contact with it, and it went out of here.
What were you thinking as you rounded the bases and you saw it go out into the stands over there?
I don't know. It was crazy. It's my first one, so So the emotions, it was really hard to contain, but a great moment though.
Okay, now I know you and Chris Bryant are pals and all, but you getting the long ball before him, does that mean you owe him dinner or anything, or just a pat on the back when you see him? Did he say anything to you?
No, he just said good job. It's pretty cool because me and him like to compete with each other. I know that, and that's just a good competition between us.
Where does that ball go for you? Do you have a place for it already?
I'm pretty sure I can make some room.
Okay. Well, enjoy this one. Thank you, Addison. The winning run right there, Addison Russell's homer, as the Cubs take this one 1-0, guys.
Kelly, thanks. Great work today. And for JD, for Kelly, and our entire CSN crew, Len Casper wrapping up our coverage at the ballpark, but still more to come. Final score, Cubs 1, Brewers 0. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live coming up next, and we'll be back with you tomorrow, 12:30 for a